sent a chill through her veins. It wasn't just some random accident. Someone had been watching. Someone had been following him. Margaret's voice broke through her thoughts. "Do you recognize the car?" Rebecca shook her head, but her gut told her there was more to this than she could yet understand. "No, but this isn't a coincidence." Margaret nodded. "I've been trying to tell the police, but they won't listen. They think I'm just a grieving mother looking for answers where there aren't any." Rebecca glanced down at the reports. She skimmed through the details of the accident: point of impact, estimated speed, toxicology reports on the other driver. But something stood out. "There was no alcohol in the other driver's system," she said slowly. Margaret's head snapped up. "What?" Rebecca pointed at the line in the report. "The news said the driver was drunk. But this says otherwise. No drugs, no alcohol." Margaret's breath hitched. "Then why did the police say he was?" Rebecca's mind raced. "Because someone wanted this case closed quickly. No investigation, no questions." Margaret's fingers tightened around the tissue in her hands. "Someone wanted my son dead." Rebecca felt a heavy weight settle in her chest. She had boarded that flight thinking she was just another entitled passenger annoyed at an inconvenient seatmate. Now she was tangled in something much bigger. And much more dangerous. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out and saw a notification from an unknown number. "Stop asking questions." Her breath caught. Her hands went cold. Margaret saw the look on her face. "What is it?" Rebecca turned the screen toward her. Margaret paled. Before she could respond, there was a knock at the door. A sharp, deliberate knock. Rebecca and Margaret exchanged a fearful glance. The atmosphere in the room grew heavy, thick with tension. Margaret's voice wavered. "Did you tell anyone you were coming here?" Rebecca shook her head. Slowly she rose to her feet, her heartbeat thudding in her ears. The knock came again. Louder this time. Someone knew they were looking for the truth. And they didn't want them to find it. Margaret clutched Rebecca's arm, her nails digging into the fabric of her sleeve. The knock came again, this time more forceful. Whoever was on the other side wasn't leaving. Rebecca swallowed hard, forcing herself to move toward the window. She peeked through the curtain, her breath hitching at the sight of a black car parked outside. The same car from the traffic cam photo. "Call the police," she whispered to Margaret, stepping back from the window. Margaret grabbed her phone with shaking hands. But before she could dial, a voice called through the door. "Miss Harrow." Rebecca stiffened. They knew her name. "You've been asking the wrong questions." Rebecca's mouth went dry. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst from her chest. Margaret found her voice. "Who are you? What do you want?" Silence. Then the sound of footsteps retreating. The car door opening. The engine revving. Rebecca sprinted to the window just in time to see the black car speed away, tires screeching against the pavement. Margaret let out a shuddering breath. What was that?" Rebecca turned face pale. "A warning." Margaret shook her head, steel returning to her eyes. "I don't care. My son deserves justice." Rebecca nodded. She wasn't the woman she had been on that flight, entitled, dismissive. Now she was part of something bigger, something that demanded the truth. The two women spent the next few hours compiling everything, the inconsistencies in the report, the mysterious car, the threatening message. They sent it to every journalist they could find, every investigator willing to listen. And then they waited. Days later, headlines swept the news. Decorated soldier's death ruled suspicious after new evidence emerges. The case reopened. A deeper investigation revealed a conspiracy, one that traced back to corrupt officials covering up a mission gone wrong overseas. The soldier had known something dangerous, and someone had wanted him silenced. Rebecca watched the news with a heavy heart, sitting beside Margaret as the truth finally surfaced. The guilt never left her, but she had done something she never expected. She had fought for someone other than herself. Margaret squeezed her hand. "Thank you." Rebecca nodded, eyes wet. He deserved better. And in that moment she knew she had changed forever.